how do you feel as someone who was the records stay, right? The documented thing stays what it is. You continue moving on. How do you feel about that being there and documented? Like, is that cool and good, or is that weird and awkward?
I mean, I guess it just, it is what it is. There's a bunch of it that is kind of embarrassing for sure, but like, I think that it's also like, I got like nothing to hide, like when like, you find out like someone was like in the, Mickey Mouse Club, and then they like have to like change their image and be like, now I'm like down and dirty, edgy, it's like my shit. You can just find it all. You can like watch like every progression it's right there. So in that sense, I'm kind of free of having to like hide anything or like reinvent myself or whatever,
Yeah, there's some freedom and beauty in just having that stuff out there. I guess you're not in control of how someone decides to interpret it or whatever. Like, I listened to your interview on the washed up emo thing, all about emo and everything, and like you can count me among the people. I think because I was growing up with and attaching to that same kind of folk music you were talking about, while also like treading into like discovering the punk bands I was seeing with my friends and everything, that when I heard Bright Eyes, I was simultaneously learning about the word emo at that time. And was just, I was like forcefully rejecting, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like almost all music is emotional in some way. Like, what are we talking about? This is.
I found it baffling too. Like I remember actually specifically like the first time Command Arena is like my high school band. We were actually out here on tour. And yeah, I was probably like 16, so it was like 1996, and like we played somewhere. I think we played like Spaceland or whatever club, and then this like girl after the show was like, you should play it. You should have played at the whatever the other club was, because that's where all the emo bands play. And I was like, emo? Like, and then I, figured out like. Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, isn't emotion part of music? I mean, unless you're like Devo or something, it's like, who like specifically tries to take it out of their music,
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like an essential part of music in my mind.
What is a love song? What is like all like the tropes we say about country songs? Like, it's broken hearts. It's like, wow. But it's because, I mean, emo is its own very real other thing. Like, there's a genre and a history, and there's a thing there. You guys covered that well in that conversation. But it was like, in the moment, as a person who didn't know, I just remember like just really rejecting it. And what's come up a lot is like my high school friend Ashley burned me a few CDs, like Get Up Kids CDs, and one of them was Fevers and Mirrors. And I can remember being one of the guests on this podcast talked about like the long intro tracks as like shaking off the squares. And I wasn't looking to like this music. I'd never heard of Bright Eyes, and I didn't like the word emo or whatever. I was like, on principle, it seemed weird to me. And I remember hearing the intro track and like being like, nah, I'm cool. And it like sat in my car for like 3 or 4 months until I eventually got past that into like songs 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, this is just good. This is just really cool songwriting. This is just good. If you enjoyed that clip, you should check out the After the Deluge podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We have full episodes there, as well as right here on this YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button and maybe check out whatever's being suggested to you right here. Thanks so much.